that's what happened this weekend, and that's what a lot of people are interested in talking about. I mean, we're going to get to the quarterbacks and talking about the draft. I know a lot of people want to hear us talk about Trey Lance. We did talk about Trey Lance with Akash right after, but I want to talk about like what our favorite picks in this draft was. And I'm going to start off with you and ask you, what was your favorite pick in this draft? In terms, it could be value, it could be a guy going to a situation, it could just be a really good player you thought that was drafted at a really good spot to a good team. What was your favorite pick?
Yeah, so there's a lot, obviously, over 100, 200 picks. A couple honorable mentions. Amari Rodgers to the Packers. We finally did it. Packers drafted a receiver again. Thank goodness. Another one, I thought Terrace to the Vikings in the 20s. Like, he was looked at as the third best tackle, and they traded back and still got him. I thought that was cool. Penei Sewell to the Lions at 7. That was awesome. But I didn't want to talk about these. A lot of people, you've heard about these. But Terrace Marshall, 59 to the Panthers. I thought this was awesome for them in the sense that when you look at their offense, McCaffrey, insane. I think he's the best running back in the league. DJ Moore is like the gadget guy, yards after catch. He's going to break tackles. He's going to, make something out of nothing. And then Robbie Anderson's your burner. Terrace Marshall's the third receiver on their team right now, and he can go over the middle. He can play pretty much any position. Strong, fast. Dealt with some pretty bad quarterbacks this past year, but in 2019, you saw what he did as third fiddle to Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. He's not unfamiliar to the role. And I think he's just an awesome target for Darnold and what the Panthers are looking to do. I think that was just an awesome pick. And they got him at 59. Most people saw him maybe as a first rounder. Me and you mocked him in the first round.
Yeah.
At minimum, a top 40 to 45 guy is what I thought. I kind of wanted the Packers to get him, but they didn't. But, man, the Panthers, that was an awesome pick.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the guys that went in front of him. Like, I like Elijah Moore. He's got a little Antonio Brown to him, this jittery, fast, super explosive, and quick slot guy. I don't think he's better than Terrace Marshall. I actually like Terrace Marshall more than even Rashad Bateman. Like, I was praying that the Ravens took Terrace Marshall. So I thought that was really a great pick for the Panthers. Again, you mentioned it. He plays all three receiver spots. He's got good hands. He goes over the middle of the field. He's a very smooth route runner. He gets open. He's okay after the catch. It's nothing like amazing, but it's fine. And it just keeps coming down to the fact, and Pinor just mentioned in the comments, Sam Darnold, really, there's no excuses. They have a solid offensive line. Taylor Moton is one of the best right tackles in the NFL, and it's an okay offensive line. They have three very good receivers, in my opinion. When you go DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall, you throw in Christian McCaffrey, who you and I agree, best running back in the NFL. Like, Sam Darnold has gone to basically quarterback heaven. And if he's unable to produce with Joe Brady in this offense, I think there'll be questions. But I agree with you. Terrace Marshall was one of the best values and players to a spot in the draft. Because I think if you look at Joe Brady, right, who coached Terrace Marshall in LSU. So it's a perfect fit. He knows the offense. It's going to be seamless, I think.
Mm-hmm. And Vish, who did you have as a pick? Maybe you throw in an honorable mention or two, but who did you think was a great value pick or pick that you really enjoyed?
So in terms of value, right, I think there were a lot of great picks. Like Kellen Mond in the third round, I thought to the Vikings was decent value because I thought he was a second round pick, but I thought Michael Carter to the Jets was an incredible fit because I thought he's an awesome fit for their scheme in the fourth round. And then he's just a really, really good running back. So I like that. I liked the guard that the Niners took a lot, actually. I hadn't watched a minute of him, but I watched him after the Niners took him. And I thought Aaron Banks is an incredible fit. I actually thought he was the best pick of the Niners draft. I mean, everybody wants to say Trey Lance, and it's super exciting and super awesome. But in terms of the player, the fit, and everything, I thought Aaron Banks was incredible. But for me, the best pick of the draft, and it goes to a guy that I think has been doing an incredible job as the GM and hasn't been talked about, and that's Andrew Berry. Since he's taken over, the Browns just continue to make shrewd moves. He's like a Tom Telesco, where he just keeps drafting really good players at spots where it looks like they're being undervalued. And I loved Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah to the Browns. I thought he was the best linebacker in this draft. He's everything you want. He's a little light. I think that the reason he fell is because people were a little worried that he's the Isaiah Simmons type where you don't really know his position. Is he a safety? Is he a linebacker? I think he's the perfect weak side linebacker. Joe Woods comes from the 49ers and he runs that 4-3 Seattle front, and they play a lot of split safety, quarters coverage, a lot of some two-man, some cover three. And I think when you look at their defense, they just got John Johnson, Grant Delpit's coming back. So I think those two guys will be the two safeties. Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Greedy Williams, there's talent at corner. So they just need a run and hit linebacker, and that's who this guy is. I think this guy is going to be their will linebacker. And if you want a guy that's fast, great in coverage, hits, I think the comparison is the Jaguars, who, again, similar front Seattle scheme. They had Telvin Smith, who was about 218 pounds. Owusu-Koramoah is like 216 pounds. I think that's kind of the comparison. And I thought that was one of the best picks in the draft because I thought he was a surefire first-round pick. Not only that, I thought he was a top 20 pick.
Yeah, I totally agree. You look at mock drafts and they're all like, he'd go to the Browns in the first round, or he'd go, even before that in the first round. And you're thinking, okay, end of first round, he's not gone. Surely someone's going to trade up for this guy, or he's going to be one of the first 5 picked in the second. But no, he kept going down. Browns did get him. And also, this was one of their biggest needs. I mean, when you look at their defense, when you look at their offense, they don't really have any glaring holes. I think you could maybe say receiver, but they drafted one and Odell's coming back, so I wouldn't say there. Defensively, they picked up a ton of guys in the secondary, so I don't see an issue there. They're getting other guys back from injury. D-line, I'm still a little hesitant. I'm not the biggest Clowney guy, but, Myles Garrett is a one-man wrecking crew. And really their biggest thing was that they were starting Simona Takitaki and BJ Goodson at linebacker, who I don't think are the most quality middle linebackers or linebackers in the league. So being able to get a guy who me and you both had as a first rounder for sure, super rangy, can cover the slot, and is really like the modern day NFL linebacker that teams are looking for. Yeah, getting him in the second round is just insanely good value. And I think he's going to slot in really well to the Browns organization.
Right, and now you basically change your linebackers where you have Anthony Walker Jr. and now Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I think it's a lot better. I think I said this. I think we had Jason Aponte on. I said my prediction is that I think the Cleveland Browns are going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, and they just continue to make me feel that way. Like they have top to bottom the best roster. I think Baker is more than capable of playing the same way Jimmy G played for the Niners to make the Super Bowl in 19, the same way Goff played in the Super Bowl for the Rams to make the Super Bowl in 18. I think Baker's more than capable of that. And I think the Browns have a really good shot at representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. There's no doubt. Their offensive line is only going to get better. And it was already incredible last year. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, we know what they bring. Odell Beckham coming back is going to add explosion to their offense. Landry's good. Baker looked great at the end of last year. And then you look at their defense, which was not that good, and it got a lot better, except for obviously the defensive line, which both of us agreed on. I'm so excited to see what the Browns are doing.
And I think the biggest thing, too, is they have Stefanski now, who – by all accounts, is leagues eons better than the coaching of Hugh Jackson and Freddie Kitchens. So, man, like you can't really ask for much more from a team building standpoint as to what they have. So we'll see what they can do. I'm excited to see them this year with, I think they've been one of the teams over the past few years that looks really good on paper. The last year they actually produced what was on paper and then, got even better. So good for you, Browns fans, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to be 4 or 5 years from now, because that's going to depend on how much money you pay Baker Mayfield. But right now, this next year, you're going to be incredible.